koutou e hoa mā, nau mai, hoki mai ki te ao o Taupo Moana record keepers. Today is the 20th of January 2024. We are back at our favourite haunt, the Flying Fettle. We have an interesting little journey ahead of us today. Why I am holding this rock to my chest is the reason for our journey out to a place called the Kaimanawa Wall, where this rock has come from, supposedly brought in by an Aussie tourist to the museum where I work. And I said to this guy, and he said, "Look what I've got from the Kaimanawa Wall." And I says, "Why have you got it? You know, first of all, why have you brought it here?" And he says, "Well, because I'm getting on a plane tomorrow and going back to Brisbane." And I said, "Well, this rock belongs back where you took it from. It doesn't, you know, why have you brought it in here?" And he says, "Because I think it's important." And I said, "I think it's important that it goes back to where it's from, actually." And so this is part of what our mission is today, to take this pohatu back to the Kaimanawa Wall, because unless it's there, it has no context or relevance. But Perry has some theories about that. So yeah, this is Jeffrey Addison here. You're in the company of Te Whaitaima, Te Whare, and our tino tohunga called Perry Fletcher.
So with Jeffrey's introduction about rocks, and we're talking about returning a stone. Is it to be returned? Over the years, people have even brought up rocks and things they think might be sacred or significant from even their own places to add and put to it.
We're talking about Kaimanawa Wall.
The Kaimanawa Wall.
Where we're about to go.
So the stone Jeffrey's got, sort of sandstone-like, a bit of silicate with it.
Oh, it's just talking to us. Just did a hongi with the floor.
So everyone's listening to. So this isn't part of the wall. It is a rock in a composition or any time and place to do with that wall.
So you think already you can tell that this, even though the guy got it from the Kaimanawa Wall site, it's actually not
many things
from there.
Taken and casually got. And there's been a lot of digging, unauthorised digging, removal of things. This is a scenic reserve. It's all illegal. Not even supposed to take plants away.
Yeah, I was flabbergasted at the man who came in and just his brazen cheek, you know, to remove this stuff from its site and then come into the museum with it and say, "I'm on a plane tomorrow, you know, what shall I do with this?"
Well, why is it people, even years later, doctors getting tired of people coming from Europe to dock opposite and touring it with an old faded tatty paper from a contemporary paper that they'd had 10, 20 years ago, wanting to visit this mysterious wall. These people spend a fortune coming here, staying here in New Zealand. We're worried about 5 minutes in New Zealand's history, its culture, or anything else. And this is where it gets in the mind for lists. It becomes a pilgrimage. Go to new sites. It becomes almost religious pilgrimage that they spend their time and effort and energy. And the ones that come and stay think they're going to discover something famous, and got a semblance of archaeology or practical experience or observation. And they're quite prepared, even legally, dig in people's places without permission, paperwork or authorisation. And some of their claim, as they claim to me, they've discovered steps, dug down and discovered steps to an altar in front of that wall. I said, "Take a photo?" "No." "I could show me the steps?" "Oh, no, they've been removed now." This is the rubbish I've had to put up with over many, many years. Some people want to write a book, want me to go out with them 2 or 3 times, like they have them here at the Flying Fettle, and ask me for a comment. because the Maori suddenly temporarily retired. Oh yes, we've always known about it. Oh yes, it's sacred to us. And that was a number one on-the-minute lie. And I'll repeat that because I was walked past that wall in 1960-61. I never took any notice of it. I saw it for what it was. And no Maori I've been hunting or anything with, and knowledgeable Maori, even they were thought of such things. Sometimes something gets publicity, and then someone will always sit on the fence and suddenly say, oh, we always knew about this. So this is just part of the newspaper and comments and that, so I tried to keep in the background. And I did the original report several years before at the head of the Department of Conservation Office, and the young man we met at Okepi as a volcanologist, come what have you, and within a week of being there, I told these people that they contacted me, we have to wait one day. No, they got the photo of themselves, Department of Conservation head, in the office out at Kaimanawa with the New Zealand reporter for a photo in the paper.
When was this, Jerry? How long ago was this? How long ago was this?
I'd have to find the paper article. But that was when that young man, he was about 1 month on the job. This was a good 20 years ago, might have been 30 years ago.
So is that before it actually blew up into a kind of a pilgrimage type situation and people saying this is...
having the head of the Department of Conservation, that was an endorsement, wasn't it? Oh, now we've got a scientific back. My report, which gave the geology, the volcanology, the layers, the context and everything else, that ended up being circulated in every Department of Conservation office in the country in New Zealand. My report, when it was starting to go all crazy. That's when the TV crew from with Dr. Neville Ritchie, wasn't doctor at the time, he was in charge of the archaeology for the Department of Conservation in Hamilton. And so he came, and that's when he met Brailsford, and we met. And Brailsford had got an archaeologist from the United States. He didn't even know where New Zealand was, but he got him to support the books he was writing and getting published, because Americans he could publish anything and everyone would read it regardless. And so he was there. The archaeologists from America actually admitted to me, thought it was quite natural, sort of taking steps away from Barry Brailsford. But it was the TV program was beautifully, it was a setup. Richie said to me, he said, I suppose we can, I'm coming from Hamilton, I'm going with a person from Department of Conservation. I suppose it could come, Harry, but there's going to be very, very important people here saying, look, we don't really want you. You've already given our opinion on the press. And so when we got there, the TV was there, crew was already all set up, stopped side of the road, they set up, and Neville Ritchie and Ralph Turner was standing there for the crew. I was standing by them or with them. And then there was a noise, playing their cymbals and a bit of chanting. They swung the camera around, and right on cue, there were about a group of about 25 people in their orange robes, these and the mentors, and that. And it was all set up. It was all prearranged, and they used some time to get these people coming up with their chanting and their phrase.
So that's a big setup.
It was a complete setup. So much for Neville Ritchie thinking, so much important people. I don't think you should be there, Perry, although there's too many people in the car. That's some nonsense I've had to do between science, which get taken away from people who should know better. And when I had dated the rocks and that geologically later, it was all confirmed, exactly as I'd had an analysis in my... Well, after that, Neville took my report, and then he thought, well, this is good. Next thing, he used most of it to rush up an article about him in the New Zealand Archaeological Association, I should have been invited as a contributor, shouldn't I? And then the New Zealand Skeptic Society got him as the authority now on Kaimanawa Wall to give them an address. 2-3 weeks across the range, just gun on the camera and gun on his back, and I helped him cut a track through for about 2 miles, just to link where he wanted to link up with the ranges and a clearing there.
And is that when you came across the feature?
No, often we walked down. Clements, the road was an old logging road.
And is that what's become the dock road?
That's now the dock road.
Okay.
So it goes through this very primeval looking forest. So you can hear your question. The native trees and the stands going up to it, so primeval looking, you'd think you'd be in the age of dinosaurs.
Yes. That's the beech forest,
Yes, but won't be surprised if you saw one round the corner. You can put yourself way back in the past in time.
Well, I'll be waiting for Boom Boom to come out. Hey.
But I've been with many people over the years, and people still talk. I was talking to Vern the other day.
Vernon.
Yes. Yeah.
You're recording,
If
right?
that's okay.
Vernon Smith, yes. I'll just quickly say that I was introduced to what was then called the Kaimanawa Wall in 1987, and have visited out there probably on 30 or 40 occasions, bringing people from across the world who didn't claim they knew what it was, but they were interested in the whole energy of this North Island. And particularly as there was a lot of, I used to call it New Age thinking, and a lot of it was rubbish. But amongst it was some very, very, very good, strong backdrop, and that was to do with the energy of the planet Earth and the great spinner wheels, and of which the Taupo region in the Rupehu area is a spinner wheel, and that this wall is all part of this huge 200-mile wide swirl. Do you know what a spinner wheel is?
No.
Okay, the Earth's got 13 gates.
Yes.
We're waiting for the 13th gate to be opened.
Yes.
It'll open on the time that the 12 are all resonating together. Tauponui is a driver wheel, of the other spinner wheels.
Okay.
And it's centered on Mount Pihanga.
Yes.
That's the idle wheel. There's this great whirling, beautiful helix, and that is the water of the 4 elements. Connect to Hawaii, which is Haleakala, cable tape, which is South Africa, and Giza. They are the 4 driving wheels,
Yes.
and they are whirling this energy around the world, going through Shasta and Fuji, Kailas, Glastonbury. You know, I'm trying to think on the head here. So he saw that this was interconnected into that energy. And it's not just the wall, it's not just the pyramids. Out at, you go out to Benidale or whatever, Tikaraka Takai. Timinga Tikakara, yeah. Fragrance of the, something like. So, it's a huge area, and this is why the Tahara Centre was put here. This is why we've got Zavia land there. It's all contributing to this huge, it's waiting, it's sitting and waiting. Now, when I went to the wall with a group of people who claimed they were from Northland, and they were part of the Whaitaima.
That's right.
They came out, we were out there this is in May 1997, so it was dark up until 6:30. We arrived there in the dark, about 5. We took a very slow walk from the car park up to the wall. They hadn't seen the wall at this stage, and They didn't know where it was. We had a few torches. They had a bull roarer. They were hurling this, calling, and they called to that wall. And they got to the wall, and I stood back. I mean, I felt like I was just kind of kaitiaki, but I was sitting there. Anyway, they said, we know these people. This is Waitaha. They are before our time. And that's all they said. Mm. They then called me forward and they said, would you just say a few words? I don't know why. This is in the dark. And it was before I hung the wall. Anyway, I stood there and I went into a silence. And my words were quite simple. I want to give thanks for all those who have guarded this area and kept it sacred until I went into silence. The Great Awakening. That's all I could think. And I fell into silence again. And then all of a sudden, out of the bush, in the dark, a kaka went, quack, quack, quack. And they all said, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, justifying and honouring that moment. Mm. Now that was my little bit of experience. That's all it was. I got the kaka. And as I was telling you later, when they'd all, hung at the wall and loved it, I went up to the wall just to say thank you, and we're through this now. Touched my forehead, as I would in a hongi, to that little mossy front, and I dissolved into tears, and I sobbed and I sobbed and sobbed. And two queer came out and they touched me on the shoulders and held me while I cried. I don't know why. I don't know why. But that's what the wall spiritually did to me. And it's never happened again. And it doesn't matter. I mean, that was just a moment. So that's my experience, if that's all right. Does that help a wee bit?
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful, Vernon.
Media. So, as Dr. Gabrus Kathy was reading some articles and that got lost and we left at the farm some years ago. But he wanted me, he said, look, before he gets the press and the media and that he wants to do this right, Gary. And he said, could I check it out? So that's him, writing books of UFOs and guidance systems and network worldwide and everything. And I went there 2 or 3 days and I walked a great area. And I walked past this every time because to me it was so obvious. I thought I was looking for an actual wall. I'd come across many actual garden walls and constructions and that as I was shown myself, genuine walls and
we've seen them,
constructions.
Yes.
So I was thinking, well, gosh, have I missed something? Have I missed this? And I spent a lot of time looking. And it was like the Emperor's clothes. I seen it for what it was and went past and passed over it and past there looking for this wall. And that's the basis of this 1990 report. Before, when I took Doc or their earlier counterparts personally over there to say, well, look, this could blow up and then let's get this sorted out now. That's what this report is. And then a few years later, these people,
it blew up.
I want to rush to get the media, the photos in the paper, and got everything foolishly and badly wrong.
Do you think those people are called fabulists, or where they make things up to suit their narrative? They're called fabulists. I'm a fabulist at times. That it's my role as a playwright and storyteller, but I know it's fiction.
Well, the thing is, I can put things and separate things, but keep them in the context. Anything from folklore and the science and everything else, lay everything out. But you don't discard one end or the other. It's all part of narrative and oratory and people's experiences and impressions in life, particularly of thinking of people at the time. And so when you say I've heard of Bruce Caffey, and he put out 4 books circulated worldwide on harmonics. It was called Harmonics. I think the first book was Harmonics 33, and then So this is a great loss of thinking. It only takes a generation, and everyone thinks they're discovering or talking about something or finding something new. It's been reinventing the wheel, well-worn wheel in this case. So I've got a tourist promotional brochure featuring myself as being a world authority on the Kaimanawa War. But who now approaches me as the world authority?
Yes.
So I just slip these things, add to the pile.
That's
my
funny.
box of interesting things.
So, Scully, this
Are you
is-
going to
this
introduce?
is Whaitaima.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet
Sorry. Hi.
Good.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good, good.
I had something to do with the museum when it was set up,
Oh, did you?
and I've been working with Jeffrey for the last few years
You
in
said you're,
Whaitaima.
you're the archaeologist, are you?
Well, I'm retired,
Right, okay.
but I was one time a regional firekeeper archaeological association. My first reports for this went back to just before 1990.
Oh, right.
Mm.
Okay.
So Perry's like what we'd call our local but world-renowned expert on the Kaimanawa War. You couldn't have somebody more authoritative here and more connected to this site. So
Well,
So
I'm
I've
not
dealt
an
with
archaeologist
TV
either, but-
people, government departments, campers,
Yeah,
fights over
well,
the years.
they've got something to deal with now.
So this
You
is great that we've been able to catch up with you.
Yeah, it was meant to be, I'd say.
Jeffrey gave me a phone call, and
Yeah. Well, I tried to email you, Jeff, but they gave me an email address that it kept bouncing.
okay,
So
well,
I
that's
went
not
in
good.
this morning and they've got another one. It's Addison, or
Addison,
Edison,
yes.
with an E or A.
Hey,
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. But they gave me J dot, J, and I think that was
it's
the
just it shouldn't have been a dot, just the J Addison one.
anyway. All right, well,
Let's go, Scully.
So, Scully, have you been up here already this morning?
I've been here since for about an hour.
Okay.
I was here yesterday, and 2 days before that is when I discovered the cross. And I was here to go back to Brisbane yesterday.
Okay, and then you turned up at the library yesterday, the Taupo Museum, sorry,
yeah.
with a rock, and you gave it to Jeffrey, and
I did,
yes.
and I got it from the hole that we're going up to, where
Okay.
the panel is.
okay,
Yeah, my strong feeling, Scully, is that rock needs to come back here, just because when you take rocks out of their
yeah,
environment,
it is a scenic reserve, so there's
Well, the only reason I took it out was when I put a spirit level on it, it's perfectly flat on the top and bottom. And I thought, well, if someone has a look at it,
well, when I had a look at it and I put it on a perfectly flat table, I could see the bit where
it has been
it's
damaged
not-
a little bit underneath it.
but it isn't perfectly flat. That's what I discovered. It is little.
Yeah, if
little,
you turn it on the other side, but you'll see the crack where it has been damaged, and I'll show you that the same, and they're the same thickness up here. It's quite amazing.
Yes, but it's a similar pattern to what's in the wall itself of cracking and cooling along parallel kind of vectors.
I mean, it's the same side, obviously, but it's
Here we are.
yeah. Now, I'll put some shoes on, but you've got to head up to the left. You're in a bit of a track there.
Looks like people have been installing things on here for quite a while, because when we were last here, these weren't there.
Okay.
None of this was here. So these are all modern, modern symbols from people wanting to leave their mark on things, and that's one of the.
There's square in there too. You didn't bring your stuff, Kerry. Okay. Yes, right, I'll just reckon there was a rope from the behind here. The room started this way, so it'll be here. I see that was here last time. Come on, pass your camera, Kerry, because I really don't know what was happening to you.
What?
Yes. Jeffrey, can I pass you this camera? I am.
Right.
So you've got a face
So-
facing you at the moment, Jeffrey.
Oh, well, that's not going to tell us very much. Right, if you could just step back and I'll have a look. Right,
Okay.
zeroing in on what looks like a circle with a cross symbol.
Okay.
And this, can you tell me what you found this Scully? You
Yeah, I found it a few days ago when it was covered in this moss
yes.
and completely covered, and I just scraped a bit off. I thought I found a crack, and then as I did, I realised it was something else. But I want you to look at some things here. Look here. Here.
What are you seeing when you're pointing?
I'm seeing
those
I'm
things.
seeing figures. Now, and you can see the markings up the top here. I don't know what they are, but if you look down here, can you see anything down there?
Not from here.
It's very vague.
Very vague.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, now, now that's
Jeffrey,
what.
can you go to there?
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
that's
Jeffrey, can
yeah,
you go to there?
yeah, that's another one. Yeah, and
Just
yeah,
The good thing with cameras is they can pick
And you
up
can
things
see-
that
yeah,
the eyes
that you can't do
don't
it.
see.
absolutely.
gotta move slow.
Yeah, okay.
Can you go back to there, please?
Yep, that's
But you can.
Just there, just there. Just stop your hand moving.
Do you want to take the camera because I don't know
No, I
what.
can't get in there.
yeah. Come and sit down, up. You'll be right. I'll move out of your way. And, you guys can just sit down and have a think about it.
So is this where you got the block from?
Yeah, that's exactly the same place I got it from.
Well,
and,
so that's box from here.
it was sitting in between these two.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah, this looks like it's rolled down somehow and broken.
Well, yeah, because you can see almost this is where it's broken off, and so at one stage it was sitting probably along here, and has fractured and collapsed inwards.
Yeah,
That's
And
what.
this is a separation here. The slab here.
yeah. Now, I'm gonna have to try and get.
So
This has still got some mud over the top of it, but there's definitely figures on other parts of this slab. And you want to get in and sit down, or you get a better view that way?
Wait for Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'll get out. And there is one particular one, he's on a horse. I can see it on my photograph, and it looks like a turban type hat. I think it was down towards the bottom here somewhere. But if we've got some water, I can just throw some water over it. Might make it a little bit better. You can see that one?
Well, I can see
Yeah.
a round
Say
thing.
Some other figures somewhere else around here.
No, just on this
It's
panel.
a circle
But
across.
it's absolutely covered in them. When you have a look at, sit down and just have a look at it, it's,
These are just recent spade cuts.
are they? Oh yeah, someone has been in there. Well, that's not me.
It's been dressed.
There was a young, see there's a figure here that's got a sort of a headdress thing on. But
It's have you seen much of the rock paintings and carvings in the North Island?
no, I haven't. But I haven't. I've found a couple of caves in Western Australia of rock carving.
Oh
So,
yes, that's
that's fine.
South Island. Anything that has a limestone face has got markings on it, old and new.
And so when I cleaned it, it became a bit clearer. But then, when it dries, it's harder to see.
That's right. We've used water techniques to bring up things that are almost invisible.
Is that right? Yeah.
Because this, what piqued my curiosity, Scully, is that form of symbolism I've never seen in any Māori rock carving around, and the symbols seem almost Celtic.
Yeah.
It's very familiar to me, the pattern.
Is it?
Oh yes.
Is it pre-European?
No.
It-
It's
What is its symbolism, do you think?
I'll get back to my book of words. But
So have you seen that symbol in this country before?
not in this country. But Mitchell's books on Celtic art in Cornwall and places.
Like that, yeah. Okay.
But
So would you say somebody's done this relatively recently, Perry, or is it really from a long time ago? Is it,
there's no expected weathering on this.
It's been under moss.
Yes,
Scully.
but no weathering for the given time. That's been,
Could have been under moss.
this has been more, tends to be metal tooled.
It's done that.
rather than stone tools?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
So well, that's a giveaway right there.
that's,
What's that?
this is a big one. I think I could see the odd pattern this way. Even when Maori did crosses, they never gave a proper cross, or culturally. It was never a straight cross like the Christian one, symbolising the earth and the cross. You know, the circle of the earth and the cross.
Maybe there is an app on the computer that you could get that would enhance these photos and bring out anything that's.
Have you
we
taken
can't see.
photos?
We can, my photo thing can bring anything up at home.
Is it?
There's some other markings here.
Oh yeah, yeah. And when you look at your photos afterwards, you'll see a lot more.
Yes, we found that in caves and things we've been into that we haven't seen them with our eye until we've gone over the footage and gone, holy crap, look at that.
Yeah, that's right. You don't notice it.
No.
Look, I'm sure there's more, but I haven't touched that. I'm not going to touch it until someone else has a look at this.
I've submitted stuff with lichen coating for analysis for dating around Taupo places. But no one's done a proper study at this.
It's flat.
And I just don't know how they got these other figures in. Did you read that water or you didn't?
No, I didn't.
I don't even have a torch, and I've got my torch in the car.
Yeah, this could afford a revisit in the different drawing conditions.
Well, I might go and get some water.
This would be covered with glowworms at night.
Would it? Wow, that'd be lovely. Yeah,
Which is typical with the things they left and brought in.
like a heart. Because
Yeah,
it looks like it's a heart.
a heart.
And people have left that as
And
an
many
offering.
people over the years have, as I say, brought things in, left things as offerings and things. And with the graffiti contemporary with that, I'd almost put this as contemporary graffiti.
Mm.
And this is very quick to grow over,
Yes.
clear, and do over.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just down here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it shows you no one's been here, sitting here. Just
Can you see that little one by your foot?
Yeah.
That's the same. It's got the same flat.
and he's taken it from the bottom there, though.
Yeah, he has.
So you can match them, can't you?
Yes, yes.
I wouldn't take a great big rocker like that.
Yeah, look, there's a
Wonderful.
smaller one there.
I mean, why didn't you take a small piece?
Yeah, well, that's flat. Exactly.
Maybe thought it was a part of a temple wall.
I think he thought it was a temple floor.
Mm.
Oh, well, that feels a little restorative. He'll probably take it next year when he comes.
And he'll say, I've just found an identical one.
Wow, that's amazing. That's exactly the same as the one I took last year. I'm about to read to you a summary of something that Perry wrote back in the 1990s. It's called Investigation of Reports of a Mysterious Stone Wall in the Kaimanawa Forest Park. Exposed in a forest-covered ridge, upon which mature podocarps have entwined their roots, is an ancient stone wall of large blocks. This is according to the information conveyed over a period by more curious visitors to this area of the central North Island of New Zealand, who describe the wall as being made of 60-inch blocks of a stone or sandstone not belonging to the area. One of the more interesting communications to the writer was from that indefatigable, pseudo-scientific New Zealand author Bruce Cathy. Bruce Cathy is a former NAC pilot whose writing forte is applying mathematical calculation to explain claimed UFO phenomenon being relevant to ancient worldwide traces of ancient civilization such as Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid, and energy systems as revealed in an electromagnetic grid system which could be directly related to UFO activity. His books Harmonic 33, Harmonic 695, and the UFO and Gravity, Pulse of the Universe, Harmonic 288, and the Bridge to Infinity, Harmonic 371244. Wow, sounds really sci-fi. Bruce Cathy contacted the writer after being shown photographs of this wall here behind me, which he was told was ancient Peruvian, at least in style, or had been teleported there. Magnificent. Kathy then checked his grid system with coordinates N North 103 by 650.056 and concluded that this place has significance and, in his opinion, is of a much older time, being past than any known civilizations. Kathy wanted to do everything right on this one, contacted John Mitchell, an archaeologist in Auckland, required a permit, liaison with DOC, historic places, etc., before going in, presumably with the TV media, to visit and excavate the site. I cautioned John about this intended exercise. I had previously been through the area but could not see anything that conveyed ancient walling. I was not in tune with New Age sensitivity to such things to find it myself, so when more recently Ian Roberts, the search and rescue advisor, being referred from Doc in Turangi to me about the discovery of a huge block wall, I availed myself of his offer to be my guide. On the 28th of October 1990, we inspected the site. I had previously walked past it and over it, but only recognised it as being a natural exposure of rangitaiki ignimbrite that has cracks and fissure lines caused by cooling constriction and possible earth movement. Facing a north to south direction, the overall exposure measures 6 metres long by 2 metres high. Fern, moss and Jew's ear, oh that sounds a bit not PC today, Perry, we wouldn't say Jew's ear, we'd say Israeli's ear, covers much of the face. Examination of the scoring lines crossing the face of each section is divided by the intersecting uneven cracks and fissure joints, make it clear that it is a single composition from a volcanic flow that was formed when it was in a heated plastic state. 2 wider cracks in the upper layer of the rocks may be the result of pressure and slight displacement of tree roots. There are examples of similar action that have left natural walls and shelves in isolated exposures that can be found from the Puriora to the Kaimanawa region. So this is not unique, folks. This is not a one-off. Nature has repeated this in other places in this rohe. Smaller exposure of rocks were examined on a higher ground who were of a less block-like nature. A small rock of the same composition as lying to the northwest side of the main exposure appears to have rolled down from the higher level. This might be what I'm sitting on right here, Perry. From off the long ridge rear, strata is exposed and similar rock of varying size can be seen naturally deposited in parts of the gully. While beach from the rock exposure and road now grow over the feature and ridge, stumps from cutout over totara remain. Some pumice and volcanic ash was noted, but is not readily apparent through erosion and humus vegetation cover at the site itself. The writer, in the course of recording and inspecting a wide range of sites, which include stone lines, rows and walls within the Taupo region, did not see anything from this feature to suggest a cultural context, or it had been manufactured, modified, or utilised in any way that requires it to be recorded as an archaeological or historic feature. It may be noted as a natural feature, however, it is now an object of local interest. And this was made by the writer Perry T. Fletcher, 28th of October 1990. So we're going back 34 years already. That's 34 years of interest. And when did it all boil over?
That was when Department of Conservation wanted to rush to get some publicity for themselves, not the people I originally dealt with, and left the report. And I told them wait one day, but no, they got the Herald reporter, and they were more or less endorsing that this was an ancient prehistoric site, tens of thousands of years before Maori, and once stock people put their thumbprint on it, it gave it a sort of official endorsement.
Credibility.
And with the TV and everything resulting, and all later follow-up, that then put this more on the world stage with Barry Brailsford and this American archaeologist who came later at that time. Yes.
It's all bubbled away though, hasn't it?
Well,
except for people like Scully who come back and now want to kind of
discover everything.
yes, including very recent rock carving additions that are pretending to be something other than modern markings. Eh?